Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You don't have an entourage with you? You're just
Not
traveling
today.
alone?
Not today.
Do you always?
Sometimes. It's like a mom day for me today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I would think that your in-laws and your brother-in-law especially, that they'd be kind of, Elizabeth, we don't want you out there by yourself. Do they talk to you about stuff like that?
Yeah, they check in on me a lot.
Yeah.
So I just reassure them I'm all right. I'm a tough girl. You can do it.
You're so young. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
You have your good days and your bad days, I'm sure.
Yeah, some days are much harder than other days, but there are some okay days now.
I do love the stories, people's love stories.
Yes.
How they met and who saw who, and tell me the love story of you and Blake.
Blake and I met at church. We were actually friends for a really long time before I ever knew he liked me in any kind of way. But yeah, we met at church, and he finally asked me on a date, and we started dating. It was really sweet. It was just really good because he was a very quiet person, and I'm a really quiet person. So put us together, and we're pretty quiet, but we were loud together. It was kind of funny. We could just let loose with each other. So yeah, and then we got engaged, and he did the best engagement ever proposal.
So we have to hear what that was. Okay.
Well, he got me and my mom and his mom a spa day, and he was just like, this is a birthday present or whatever. So we had like a spa morning, and then he showed up at the end of it. I had no makeup on. I looked so nasty. He showed up in this suit jacket, real fancy, and he's like, all right, I'm going to take you to shopping, and let's go get a dress. And
whoa.
Obviously I knew something was up. So yeah, we went and shopped, and then he proceeded to take me to the first 7 locations of our first 7 dates. So yeah, at each location there was a gift and a card that pertained to that date. So our first date, we went and saw a movie. So he took me to the movie theater we were at, and he had the movie that we saw that time new or whatever for me to open.
Wow.
So yeah, and the last date ended up being at the Arch because that was like our spot, and that's where he proposed, right underneath the Arch. So he did a really good job, and then we went and ate at Tony's in St. Louis.
Wow, he did a good job.
He did. He really worked that one out.
Was it when he showed up in the suit that you knew this is it?
Yeah, I had an inkling, just a little bit. He looked really
I wonder,
fancy.
no woman ever wants to say, okay, he's asking me today because you might be a little nervous.
I know. I
Maybe
was
I'm
very
wrong.
nervous. Well, I didn't know which location it was going to be at. I was like, how many more are there going to be?
This sounds like it was like a 6-hour process.
No, it was all day. All day. Went into the night. Yeah, and we took a horse and carriage ride. It was very romantic. He did a very good job.
Did you find out later that he was watching you? Did he ever tell you that, yes, I liked you? And I mean, was he nervous to say?
Well, I was dating someone else at the time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we were just really good friends. And then that relationship ended, and then we just talked a lot, like really good friends do. And then one night he was texting me. He's like, hey, you want to go see a movie? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Who's all going? And he goes, just us? And I was like, oh, what?
Whoa.
What? Yeah. So it was interesting. And, getting my parents' approval was a really big deal to me because he was 8 years older than me.
Right.
So my mom was kind of freaking out a little bit. She's like, he's way older, Elizabeth. No way. Go ask your dad. He's going to say no. Go ask your dad.
So you're asking your dad to date him?
Yeah, just to date him. I wanted to go on a date. And, my mom was kind of nervous
How old
about
were you
it.
then? You were?
I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost 20.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, Blake Snyder, from church, wants to take me on a date. What do you think? He's like, oh, Blake Snyder. I know Blake. I worked with him for 4 years. I love him. Go. And my mom's, her jaw dropped. She was like, what? He's like 8 years older than her. She
Your
was
dad
so
wasn't doing
sure.
that.
No, he wasn't. He knew him, and I had no idea that he had actually worked with him for like 4 years before me and him even met. So it was really nice to know that my dad approved, and so did my mom eventually.
You weren't worried about him being older?
No, he was more mature than any of the guys my age that I had come across. So it was just really nice to have that maturity level, and he was set in all his ways. He was, working at the church. He was very godly. I wasn't worried about age.
Yeah. I remember when my husband and I started dating and we were going to church that I was a loud worshiper and my husband was not, and it kind of would annoy him. Did you guys go to Bible study together? Did you tell me about that?
We were actually, while we were friends, we're leaders in the youth group together. So we did small groups with the youth and everything like that. So yeah, we worshiped together, and we also got to know.
You get to know somebody in a small group setting.
Oh, definitely, very close knit. Yeah,
that's good.
Loved
That's
it.
good. How did you find out that day that he was gone?
I was sleeping, and it was about 5:30 in the morning, and my brother called me, and I was kind of in a haze when he called, and I was like, "What, Justin? What? It's so early." And he's like, "Elizabeth, you need to get yourself and Malachi up. Something's happened to Blake, and it's pretty serious." That's all he would tell me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he got shot in the leg or something."
That's what
something
you were
happened.
thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I did not even think it was at that point. And I got me and Malachi up, and Justin arrived with another officer, and we were flying down the highway. I have never been in a car that fast, and we were flying to the hospital.
Are you
and
thinking? Are you?
Well, at that point, I
dread?
started getting worried. And I'm like, "Justin, tell me what happened. I need to know." And he's like, "I can't say anything right now. I can't say anything." And he was freaking out too, And
is he emotional?
oh well, Justin is a very strong person. He's a very strong person in front of people, and then he's very, very sweet on the inside. But for me, he was trying to be very, very strong. So I still didn't know. And then we were about 2 minutes from the hospital, and he got a phone call, and I could just see his face. Just I can't even explain it. But he got off, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he's gone, isn't he?" And he started crying. I started crying. My sister was with me. I was like, I couldn't. It was.
Where's your son at this point?
In my lap. He was in my lap and playing and laughing like it was a normal day. Yeah. So it was very...
Did they take you to the hospital?
Yeah, they took me straight to the hospital, and there's so many officers there, and I've never seen so many tough police bodybuilder guys bawling their eyes out. So that is just crazy. I was walking in the hospital, and I'm like, this is not real, this is not real, this is not me, this is not Blake happening, this is not real. And it's still kind of hard to know that it's a reality, it's just still hard. But I'm starting to learn to live in a new normal, a different routine than it was. So
I've known you now for 15 minutes, and I can't imagine you going through that stage of grief of anger.
Yeah.
Have you hit that yet? Not that you will, because everybody's grief is different.
Right. I wouldn't say that I have been angry. I got angry at God because I still don't really understand why, and I don't know if I'll ever understand why. Maybe one day when I
see him face to face.
Yeah, see him face to face, and he can tell me. But I got angry for a little bit, but then God has been my strength through it. So I haven't really had I want to shatter a plate right now, anger. It's just a very sad. It's a sadness for this world that we're living in nowadays, and the total disrespect and anger towards police officers that has come around. And unfortunately, Blake is now a statistic of that. So it's sad. I'm very, very sad about it.
Blake was the kind of guy who loved people, it seems. If he's in small group with teens at church, he loves people. What do you hear him saying to you still?
To keep moving forward and take care of Malachi and stay strong in my faith. That's what I know. That's what he would tell me. And to keep speaking out for police officers like I've been trying to do, and I'm going to continue to do. So I think he'd be happy with that, for sure.
Is there a scripture that you go to that helps you? Is there...
there's lots of scriptures that I'm trying to dive into. The Bible is very, very important to me. It's still really hard to, it's kind of hard to explain this too, but it's hard to read God's word at the same time, trying to understand it. It's just very hard for me to understand why it was my police officer that was taken. Yeah. He was such a good guy. He did so many good works, it's still really...
I understand that.
Rough,
I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
Because do you feel like if you start reading the word, somehow you're accepting?
Yeah, kind of like that. And once again, going back to the being upset at God thing, it's hard not to read his promises and saying, I have all these promises for your life and all of these good things for you, and at the same time realizing my one good thing is gone, you know, so.
Because he says he'll never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah.
And somehow.
And he won't, and
right,
he won't, and he
right.
hasn't. It's still.
Your husband is
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
What does Malachi ask you or say about his dad?
He used to ask a lot for Daddy because he wasn't around, you know, and he would say, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And that would just rip my heart out, you know, so I wouldn't really know what to say to him. But now it's kind of tapered off a little bit where he'll see his picture or something on the TV or, you know, whatever, and he'll say, Daddy, and he'll say it happily and whatnot, but then I think he's getting used to him not being here, you know. And I've tried telling him, he's only 2, so it's really hard for him to understand. But I just simply tell him, you know, Daddy's in heaven, you know, he's not here with us anymore because he was protecting someone. And he kind of just looks at me. But I try to give him the best explanation possible at this point.
You want to talk about his
I
father.
will always talk about Blake to him, and whenever he is old enough to fully understand it, I'll give him the full story. I will, and he will always know. We have so many supporters, and the community has been great, and our family has been wonderful, so he'll always know. Yeah.
Did you feel one thing about how officers were perceived and treated before he was taken?
Well, I felt the same because Blake was at the Ferguson protest. He was there every single night, and at that point I was 8 months pregnant, and I watched my husband on the TV. I saw him on TV every night being spit on, cursed at, just yelled at for no reason. They're just standing there, you know. So there was always a pressure on police officers, and always that anxious feeling when he would leave, and he had no problem with it because he loved his job. He was like, babe, I'm going to be great, I'm going to be fine, God's got my back, I'll see you in the morning, you know? So it was more me worrying than him, but I grew up in a police officer family, so I have always known how important they are to our community, to us, and to our families.
Did you ever, when you would say goodbye to him, because I've heard from some wives that there's a ritual, there's some things they say, some things they do. Did you guys have anything like that?
Yeah, we definitely had our own little routine. He would always get ready. We'd always have dinner because we'd have to rush through dinner, and then he had to get ready because he had a 45-minute drive to work, and he had to get his car packed up and everything. So he would get ready, and he'd give me a kiss, Malachi a kiss every night. Every night. If we were in a fight, he'd still give us a kiss, which was so great, you know. He'd kiss us, he'd say, love you, talk to you later. And then when I went to bed at night, I would always tell him I'm going to bed, and he would always call me. And we always said goodnight over the phone. So that's our little routine.
What is it that, other than everything, that you miss about him? It could be something really simple, as people who have gone through loss can attest to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I miss everything, you know.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. None of us can imagine. There are those who know.
Yeah.
There are those who know. Have people reached out to you, whether they're, you know, the wife of an officer or not, or the husband of an officer?
Oh yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that have been in my same situation, and it's such a good outlet to talk to people that actually know what I'm feeling. It's great. My family has been perfect and everything, but they don't know the loss of a spouse like that. You know, it's been really good. You know, I miss little things, of course, about Blake. Like, I was putting together some toys that Malachi got for Christmas, and I never do that, okay? I'm not like Candy or whatever, and I had to buy a set of tools, and, you know, so it's little stuff like that, and his texts. Like, this happened like a couple weeks ago, where it was just happened in my brain. I got a text message, and it just comes up, you have one new text message. And I opened my phone thinking, oh, it's text from Blake. And so it's like,
I can imagine that you still think he's going to walk through the door.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's okay. And I want you to never apologize again to anyone.
Thanks.
When your tears flow. Promise me that you will not apologize when your tears flow. You have to stop saying that, because this is your right to grieve.
Thanks.
And you're doing such a good thing. Do you feel that you're doing a good thing by expressing what you're going through, that it's
No,
helping
yeah.
people to see that
Yeah.
there's a real family behind this.
Right, and that's my mission when I'm doing it. You know, I've been given a platform when it comes to Facebook and the media and everything. I truly believe I've been given a platform this, like, through this tragic event. And I want people to see that police officers and law enforcement, they have families and they're humans and they're not robots. You know, they have someone waiting at home, and even if they're single, they have a dog at home or something. You know, they have families. You know, they have parents. You know, and siblings. So they're not out there to get you. Like there's so many people that are out. You know, they see a cop and they're like, oh my gosh,
They're
yeah.
scared.
So that's not who they are. They're really there for us. You know, there's a bad apple in every bunch, in every career, every professional career. So I just want them to know that families grieve, you know, whenever they've lost a loved one, no matter what career path they've chosen. And for law enforcement officers, they're literally putting their lives on the line every single day for people that have no idea who they are. And that is like one of the most selfless things you can do. It's crazy.
Have people reached out to you who are on, if you will, on the other side of that issue, who want better training for officers, who... Have you been...
Not so much like in that area. I've had several people message me and saying, before this all happened with Blake, I had a different outlook on officers, but then we got to know Blake through the media and through you and through Facebook, and now we completely support officers. So for that one person to say that, that's worth it to me to make my post and talk out about it, you know, because, hey, I changed that person's mind. That's one more that like law enforcement now, you know. So, and I've also had negative...
How do you respond to that? Because you've had people who question, they want you to grieve privately. How have you responded to that? What does that make you feel or think?
I mean, I laugh about it because everyone grieves differently. And I truly believe you can't tell me how to grieve when you have not sat in my shoes, okay? And even if you have lost a spouse like I have, everyone is different. And what helps you heal is not the same that helps me heal. You know, it's just a different process. And me speaking out about it and talking to people on Facebook helps me grieve. And that's the same as if you're going to journal it or blog it or write in a diary. You're just talking to people on Facebook. Our world is a Facebook world. You know, my generation is all over their phones and their laptops. So if I can reach people that way, I will. And I'll do it, and I'll continue to do it.
Sounds like maybe we can put ministry to this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've been asked by a few different churches and whatnot to come and talk, and I'm so not a public speaker at all.
I don't buy it. Don't buy it, Elizabeth. Don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I am not a public speaker.
You've been thrust.
I have. I've been thrown into that world, and, you know, it's good and bad or whatever.
Sure,
but, you know.
You've been asked by some churches.
Yeah, to speak. And that might happen in the future. I'm focused on one thing at a time still right now, so maybe later down the road.
And so how are you doing parenting alone? And you're not alone. You have a big family.
Yeah. Well, being a single parent is something else. I give props to all those single parents out there because it is tough, you know, but we're making it. You know, you can do it. And it's just, it's different, you know, and Malachi's been super clingy to me and so loving and so very sweet. I love him so much. But being a single parent is hard.
It's hard.
You know, it is for anyone. It's difficult. So yeah, I give props to all those single parents. Good for you, because I had no idea what it was like, you know, until now. But we're making it. We're doing good.
Do you plan to work? Are you...
Yeah, definitely. I still have my job at the zoo. I haven't gone back yet, but I plan on going back sometime probably in the spring now. I was saying at the beginning of the new year, but we're still getting moved into our house and getting settled down. And actually, I am really enjoying this time with Malachi.
Sure.
You know, I didn't get to do this before because I was full-time in school as well as working at the zoo, so it was not as free time as I have now with him. So I'm really enjoying this, and I think these first few months are really important for me and him to spend time together. So yeah, I'll be going back to work soon. I can't wait. I miss my animals at the zoo, that's for sure. I do miss them.
What were you going to school for?
Biology with an emphasis in biodiversity.
What do you want to do?
I want to do what I'm doing now. I want to be a keeper. Yeah, I love working at the zoo.
Big animals or?
I love the elephants. Maybe one day I can get to that point. But right now I'm loving being in the children's zoo. Yeah.
Gosh.
I know, it's a great job. I love it. It's been my dream job since I was little.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Were you the person who was taking care of all the animals in the neighborhood? What
yeah.
were you doing?
My mom was like, "Get the animals out." You know, I kept bringing a different animal home every day, but you know, that's how it goes. I've always had a passion for animals. Love it. Yeah.
So when do you think you'll? One day at a time. I
One
don't
day
want to rush you. You know, what's going to happen when you're 50? No. Do you think you're going to go back to school maybe 2018?
Oh my goodness.
Just depends.
This year, I am going back. I have worked so hard for this degree, and it's taken me a long time because I had to take a break. My dad passed away, so that was in the middle of a semester. Thanks. Mm-hmm. It was in the middle of a semester, so I had to take that semester off. Then I had Malachi, and I had to take that semester off. So I've been pushed back quite a bit, but I am going to finish.
You're determined.
I am determined to finish, so I'll be going back this fall.
Your followers on Facebook, have you had to shut it down yet?
No, and I've been told to do a few different things with my Facebook. So yeah. I still have my personal Facebook. That's the one I use right now, and I'm at my friend limit. And that's kind of sad because I get a lot of messages from people saying they want to be my friend, but I can't because there's a limit. And then I've been told, oh, you should get like a public page or whatever. But I don't know if I kind of want to go that route or not. That it's like a whole different world, you know, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That way I could have more friends, I guess, on Facebook, but I have a lot of followers right now, and that's insane to me because I'm not like that at all. You know, I don't know. It's different. It's different.
Out of this tragedy.
I know.
Has come a woman with a message.
Yes, very much so. A strong message.
And you said to me that you're stronger, and I would add, than people may think. Not to do any kind of imagery or be sexist here, but you're a lovely young woman.
Thank you.
Beautiful young woman.
Thank you.
And we tend to assess people by their looks.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
Sadly. And so people might see you and all they see is the beauty.
I've seen a few comments, like whenever I'll get on like Channel News, you know, Channel 2 News or 4 or 5 or something, you know, and look at the comments that people have posted about me. And some of them are kind of very sexist, saying, oh, if she wasn't a pretty face, if she wasn't a pretty blonde, you know, this wouldn't have happened. Look at all these wives and whatnot, they didn't get this popularity. And I'm like, okay, I didn't ask for this, okay? I did not ask for this. You know, I'd take my husband back in a heartbeat, less than that, you know? So I don't know, do you want me to like not wear makeup or put a turtleneck on, you know? Yeah, I'm sorry. So I don't know, you know, I just gotta ignore those comments and rise above it. That's how I see it.
And you said you're tougher than they think.
I am, a lot tougher than they think. I don't know, just because I'm a woman and
you might think I'm cute.
Ooh, I am tough. I got some.
I'm riling you up, aren't I?
Yeah. Hey, in my last Facebook video, I was on a roll. I got on a rant about that painting. So yeah, I don't know. I'm tough.
I'm glad to hear it.
Small but fierce.
Malachi needs it. Tell me about his name.
Malachi?
Clearly, yeah.
Oh, from the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last book in the Old Testament. I just love the name, and the story of Malachi is awesome, and it means messenger of God. So couldn't be more perfect. Maybe one day he'll step up to all of this, you know, be a messenger.
Aren't we all a messenger?
For sure.
We're supposed to be anyway.
Yeah, we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Depends on who takes it on.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
Do you have any last message to St. Louisans, to women, to moms? I could go on.
I could go on for sure. No, I am so very grateful for everyone's support throughout this entire event and everything that's happened, and I couldn't be more grateful. It's just overwhelmingly a good feeling to know so many people support us and so many people are rooting for us. It's great, and I'm very thankful. I can't be more thankful. Yeah, for sure.
There